All right. Guess we're gonna get started on this one. Get my gloves on. So, as you guys probably know if you've been following, we went ahead and started repairing the rust in the back end here and replacing the subframe, putting new adjustable control arms on the back of this thing. And right now we're over at the alignment shop in town. And these guys, I'm not gonna dog these guys. They're R&R Tire Express. They've helped me out because they have the lowest lift here. And these guys have helped me out for the last couple years getting alignments done on this thing. But unfortunately, we have a problem. So before the snowstorm hit us up here, I tried to get this thing lined up. Just get the wheels on and get it started, but you guys can clearly see that wheel is really far back. And the same goes for the other side. So I wanted these guys to go ahead and just straighten out the alignment in the back end and take care of it for me. And I'll show you this wheel over here. This wheel's just the same. It's sitting real far back. So all the adjustable stuff is out of whack. I didn't have any good parts left over. I should have saved them. That was kind of my mistake. I should have saved the stock parts to measure against. So I could line up the front here with the body mount there on the subframe. But you know, you live, you learn, I guess. So anyways, I'm out here going to try to get these wheels a little closer. And this is just something that they said that they couldn't touch here, which, I mean, I get it. They're not a full service shop. It's just alignment and tires and wheels is all they do. So we're going to have to get this thing up in the air real quick. And we're going to have to try to eyeball this because they took this thing. First, they couldn't get it on the machine because the front was a little too low. Took care of that issue. Then they put it back on the machine, said it was out of whack, and the machine wouldn't pick up on the rear wheels because it was so far out. And as you can see, I mean, that's not a centered wheel. This one's not as bad as the other one. But we're going to try to eyeball this, go old school with the tape measure on the control arms and see if we can line this up a little bit. This is the bad one. If you look, the wheel is pretty far back. This is what happens when you have adjustable control arms and you don't properly adjust them against the stockies. So kind of my fault. But anyways, thanks to these guys at R&R Tire because they've helped me out a ton. They do all the vehicles I work on. They work on this thing for me when I need, you know, wheel and tire service, but this one is a little outside of their wheelhouse. So we're going to go ahead, get this jack under here. I need a jack bar. I had to load up a ton of tools. I actually just went down and worked on the red 240 yesterday doing some painting. So I'm going to see if we can correct this. And this is going to be fun because I couldn't bring my giant jack with me. All right. I can only bring this little guy, and this little guy kind of fought me last couple times I used this on this car. It's a little low. You really got to reach up under there deep and get like no range of motion with this jack. She'll move eventually. There, we're going up slowly but surely, guys. Slowly but surely. I already cracked these lug nuts free. Hopefully with a little bit of adjustment, we can get this wheel closer to center. And I'm going to do them both. Try to get them closer to center and see if we can kind of eyeball it. I know there's specs posted on DSM tuners to get the rear alignment and all that stuff if you're doing it with like a angle finder, and you know, you can do the strings across the sides of the tires from the front to the back on jack stands, or you can use the alignment plates or straight board it. Honestly, I just wanted to get this thing rolling because it's been off the road, not moving at all for, God, it's December 20th, I think today. Yeah. So this has been sitting with no subframe and all torn apart since the end of, I want to say August, beginning of September, somewhere in there. And it sucked. I wanted to drive this thing so many times, missed out on so many different cruises with people because it was somewhat possible to locate a good, worthwhile rear subframe for this thing. So it's all back together. I just want to drive it, and it's been over here for about 4 days, so I feel bad for these guys. Like I said earlier, they've brought it in the shop and taken it out of the shop and brought it in the shop and taken it back out of the shop. It's probably a huge pain in the butt. Headache status for them, but you know what? They're good guys. They're just trying to earn a living. go up just a touch more here. Not what I expected to be doing on a Sunday afternoon, but things we do to keep our cars rolling, right? All right, this jack is looking a little funny. I don't know if I want to go any further with it. Throw one on the other side real fast. All right, that looks good. That looks good. Let's not turn this into how to drop a GSX. All right, she's planted. All righty. So I think we're gonna work on this side first. This is the worst of the two. Yeah, I'm still in bodywork stages on this side. I got the frame stuff repaired. I got the wheel arch repaired, but I didn't do the body yet. There's a rather large gaping hole right there. You guys can see. Kind of sucks. All right, let's pull some lug nuts off this thing and see what we have to do to adjust these or get them closer. So it looks like the wheel is twisted inward. If you look at it from the edge here, you can kind of see it's not straight, it's kind of in, and the whole thing needs to move forward. So we're gonna have to mess with the forward arm and the rearward arm. The forward one you can adjust right on here by changing the length of the rod. The rearward one, you have to, I believe, pop the ball joint out or disconnect it from up in the subframe. So I think we're gonna end up doing the ball joint on the knuckle side. So let me pull these off real fast. Dead batteries. Okay. Got a whole bunch of nonsense with me from my little trip yesterday, so. Alright, I'll get a battery in here. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do here. Move you guys over. All right, so this thing is not centered. It needs quite a bit of adjustment. You guys can kind of see in the wheel arch, she's twisted like that. So I'm gonna try to move it back a bit by extending the forward arm back and then sucking the rear arm in. So I'm gonna have to knock this nut off and pop this brand new ball joint out. We'll see what we can do here. I think the forward adjustment should be pretty simple. I wish I had some sort of way of measuring, what the factory one is right here from the center of the where the bolt goes to the center where this bolt sticks up or the stud sticks out, but what can you do, All right, so first thing I'm gonna try to do, crack these jam nuts free. And get these jam nuts freed up. We should be able to move this either the front out, and then we can work on sucking the rear in a little. There's a lot of adjustment on the forward one, the rearward one not so much. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna change this up a touch. We're gonna knock this nut out of here and get this ball joint down, and then we're gonna try to just manually position this thing straight and get some measurements here. Should be fun. I guess this is one of the things they don't tell you when you guys throw adjustable parts on your car and you take it to an alignment shop. So learn from my mistake. Let's get ourselves a little wrench. Some sockets here. Should be able to get this figured out pretty quick. This one doesn't look too terrible. When you get it up in the air, it's hanging pretty close to center, but you can still see it's pitched forward. It's kind of pointed inward instead of outward. And it's supposed to lean in at the top, a little bit of positive camber, I believe. And I want to say it's like a 1/8 inch of toe in toward the front, but I can't remember. Oh man, hands are freezing. Whoops, sorry guys. All right, so for those of you who are just joining in, this is fun. It's 30 degrees outside and we're sitting in the shop parking lot where we were trying to get an alignment knocked out, and unfortunately I didn't do my due diligence, and I threw some adjustable arms on this thing without getting measurements and centering my wheel. So this is my fault, not R&R's fault. You guys can see right here, it's pretty obvious which direction this thing's leaning. She should be sitting flush, straight in the center of the arch, and it's kind of forward and pointed inward towards the center of the car. So that sucks, but hopefully we don't destroy this brand new ball joint on this arm trying to take it out. I don't think we would, but we'll work on that now. We're gonna take this nut right here, try to get this popped out. This thing is just covered in some road salt right now. I gotta take it to the car wash when I'm done. I wish I could drive it over there now and do it, but it's not an option. All right, some sockets here. All right, so this is a 14 mil on the top. Got a wrench on there. All right, that cracked free very easily. That's a good thing. Let's see, yeah, so I just want to drive this thing, guys. It's been so long. I honestly miss it. All right, we'll leave that on there. A couple of threads, and I'm going to try to carefully tap that out with a hammer. Let me grab my big hammer real fast. You know what? I'm gonna get a light for us too. Got one right here. All right, you can kind of see what we're working on now. Taking this out of the way for now. Not blinding you, right? No, not blinding you. Beautiful. All right. It's a little stubborn right there. I don't want to damage it, so I'm going to get a pry bar and try to pry down on it and whack the side right here a couple times, see if she'll pop free. Normally I'd just jack the whole knuckle up from the rotor or something. There's a dust shield in the way here, but I mean, you can get on the control arm and put some up pressure and kind of pry it downward at the same time you're tapping on it, but we'll see what happens here. little bit of downward pressure on this bad boy. Right at the end of that heim joint. Still try to give myself enough room to get the hammer in there. Feels like she wants to start moving. Let's give it a little left tap here. Back this nut up just a bit. There we go. And I don't think we hurt anything. Beautiful. All right, the nut's off. Be able to push that out. All right. Now that we got this out, sorry I'm shaking you guys all over the place. There's not very much motion stability on live here. This needs to go in more, but I couldn't get it to spin inward unless I disconnected this heim joint here. So we're gonna back this nut all the way down to the head here. We're just gonna turn this in a few turns. This is gonna be kind of our starting point. And what we're gonna do is pull this whole thing in all the way and back it out and get this hub somewhat straight. Because right now it was sagging really far back. So I wanna suck everything here up forward and then just bring it out little by little on the front and the back until it's close. And apparently getting this ball joint out, this is what was stopping these guys, is this 14 millimeter right here. They could not knock this out because they were afraid they were gonna damage this brand new part. I get that, but still, it's just a 14 mil and it didn't really put up too much of a fight. So what I'm gonna do when I put this back together, I'm gonna try to get it close, and I'm just gonna slide these into place, put the 14 millimeter nut back on this rear ball joint, and just leave it so that they can easily take it back out. I'm not gonna fully torque it down, I'm just gonna get it in, and we're gonna leave it at that and let these guys do their adjustment from there. But now I'm gonna try to work this front end back in a little bit. Actually, you know what? We'll start in the rear. We'll see how far back we have to go. Looks like quite a bit. So I can either extend this or I can suck it back in. So I think what I'm gonna do is suck it in, like I said, and try to move the whole thing forward just a bit. And then if we have to, we can attach this one and stick it out or pull it in. It's a little bit of a crapshoot right now. I haven't had to do one of these before. Seems pretty simple though, right? You wanna have the wheel in the center of the arch facing the right direction, not pointing towards the center console. So, I don't know how to say the name. Is it Zub? I just saw your message, man. That sucks. Is there a what do you got? A second gen? All right. Maybe a voltage issue or something. Where it just clicks and doesn't fire, or do you struggle the whole time to get it to crank, or what's it doing right now? Sorry, you guys are actually in landscape mode, so your comments pop up very briefly, and I can't change it apparently on live, I don't think. It says orientation's locked, which is stupid. Let me see. Yeah, no, I can't change it. So you guys, sorry if I missed some of your comments there. All right, I'm gonna crank this thing in. I had a problem with my first gen clips. Oh, Talon actually. Oh, second gen. Paint my valve cover, remember? Oh, okay, yes, I do remember. Sorry, I talk to a lot of you guys every day, and I get everybody mixed up so bad. I'm so bad at multitasking when it comes to different conversations with all the different people that reach out. A lot of us just like to chat, and a lot of guys run into random issues, and a lot of guys give me some good tips, so I'm grateful for that, but I get everybody mixed up. It's just how it goes, I guess. Anyways, yeah, I had a issue with my first gen Eagle Talon TSI. I couldn't get that thing to fire up for a while. It was doing the clicking thing. It ended up being, what was it? It ended up being cam angle sensor. There was no spark. So the cam angle sensor was intermittently not giving signal back, so it wouldn't let the thing fire. And that was a pain. But after a couple of days of messing with everything, we sorted it out. And test light, checking all the normal stuff. now she's working again. Somebody else owns it now, but I do miss that car. I loved my first gen. Thinking about either going for an Evo or going for another first gen. I've been keeping my eyes peeled, looking at all the classifieds pages and all that. Don't get me wrong, I like my second gen, but I wouldn't mind having either something newer or something like my original with the 6-pole. That was a real fun car. Basically the first boosted car that I owned and got to mod, so I had a good time with that thing. You know what? We're looking better already. You guys can kind of see it's starting to suck in, but at the same time it's straightening itself out for some reason. I'm not fully sure why. I feel like moving this thing, making it shorter, it should turn it even further close to the center. I think I just had it so far out that I'm not sure. I think it was just so far out that the bottom ball joint was holding all the pressure on it basically, and it was pivoting. So I'm just gonna relieve this tension, try to get this whole thing sucked in. So with this kit, you can adjust your camber, and you can also, you know, tilt your wheels really far if you want. Not doing that, but you can do that with some of this stuff. And I don't know, these guys told me last year that I should get these arms because there's no way to there's the Evo's the better option for sure, man. If I had $30,000 to pick up a Evo 8 tomorrow, I'd probably do it. I definitely like them. My all-time Mitsubishi / Dodge is the Stealth, or the 3000 GT VR4. I've wanted one of those again for years. I bought one back in 2007 from a buddy of mine, and it had a rear main seal leak, but it was really, really slow. And I ended up selling the car before I repaired that, but we did a bunch of fun stuff with it. And we put the MAF translator on it. I put a ScanMaster 3 in it. I put DSM stock injectors, the 450cc stock injectors. I think they came with 390s, if I'm not mistaken, stock, the 3000 GT. But we put the 450s in it, a Walbro 255 fuel pump, a manual boost controller, and we cranked it up to about 24 PSI on the highway there. And every time you'd get it going above, like, you know, you're ripping on it, you get above 80 to 100 miles an hour, the whole cabin of the car would fill with smoke because the turbos were just blowing oil, man. They could not handle it. Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but when you're young, you have fun like that and break crap, and you have the energy and the time and not always the resources to repair it, but still. All right. Man. Let's see here. I saw another comment pop in, bud. Let me see if I can have the comments over. All live messages. Sorry, I'm not very good at this live stuff yet. Let me see if I can add the chat to here so I can see it. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing an option to turn it on. None, hide all chat messages, show chat. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta get a different mount for this thing because right now everything is hidden. I see your text or your comments popping up. I'm gonna have to go back through and reply to some of them underneath once the stream is done here. But all right, I got the front close to where I want it. Let me see. Now I want to work on the rear here. Let's see if I can get this pulled in just a bit. Yeah, I think we can do this. Just a lot of tension from all the suspension components in here. So you got the upper arm holding on, you got the ball joint on the bottom holding on. If I can give this a nice little tweak back and get this in and start it, I think we can check the tire, see what it looks like when we put the tire back on, if it's moved the whole thing forward more, or I'm sorry, moved the whole thing rearward more because it was way, way, way out. So yeah, I'm gonna try that real fast. Let me see if I can get this thing, if I push on it real hard, I can get it to twist just a little bit. So I'm gonna see if I can twist it back and get that back in there. and give it a whirl. Get out with a pry bar. Do a little tweak. Yeah, I think this might work. Alright. You know what? Feels like whoever was messing with this tightened this back section here, because this collar is, the whole thing is supposed to be adjustable from this side and this side, and it feels like this has been cranked down there so tight. They told me that it was out of adjustment. There was no more room for adjustment to get it back into spec. I don't understand how. So let me see if I can break this back nut free, this jam nut in the center section real fast, and if that'll pop off, then I think we'll be in business. I'll leave everything loose for these guys and just let them do their thing. But let me try that real quick. Get on there with some crescent wrench or something. All right. Oh, man. She is definitely in there. Let's see what we can do. You know what? I think I might have a wrench that'll fit on there. I'll be right back. All right. There we go. That's the one I needed. Attack this from a different angle here. Switch up the game plan a bit. I'll crack this jam nut free in the center section, this adjustment portion. I think that may be the problem that these guys are having. Oh, it's on there. Thought I got lucky and popped it free. Let's see. Man, I almost want to take this thing off and bring it home and throw it in the vise, because this is on there. What if I brought a torch with me? I don't think I did, but you know what? Might have to just use this end heim joint here. Just want to check real fast and see how much threads I have on this part before I go too far out with it. Yeah, it looks like there's a good amount of threads, so I was worried that the shaft is going to end up, the threaded section is only going to be like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long on the inside of this collar here. In that case, I wouldn't want to have them adjust it too far out. Fear of having the thing wobble free and pull out or something. But I don't think we're going to have that issue. Alright. Just gonna tweak this and get it back in. Alright, she's in. I'll throw this nut back on, and then we're gonna just slap the wheel back on this real quick. Just put a couple lugs on it and see if this helped us at all. I really think that this is the problem. I think that this collar being on here so tight is what's causing those guys not to be able to adjust the rear end. So I may have to grab a torch and really give it the beans. This section right here is really on that jam nut, so, but it looks a lot better already. You know, it's a problem when they tell you that the alignment machine wouldn't even register the back wheels unless they got it up on the stand. So, all right, let me move you guys out of the way a little bit. Throw a tire back on and see what she looks like. Throw a couple lug nuts on the floor here. Get my light out of the way. You're told, lug nut. Alright, I'm just gonna throw another one on, see if it's close. Alright, let's take a quick peek at this. Alright. Well, it looks better already. It's a lot more centered in the wheel arch. Let's take a look from the back here and see if it follows the body line a little bit better. What should fuel pressure be at the AM regulator? I think you want to do a video replacing one. I hooked it up the same way. So you have a adjustable fuel pressure regulator. You're going to want to aim with if you have even a stock pump all the way up to an aftermarket pump. If you have a adjustable fuel pressure regulator, I usually aim between 43 and 44 psi. And the way people test those, a lot of people just unplug the vacuum line and leave the port on the top open and try to read it. What you want to do is unplug the vacuum source and plug the port on the side of the AFPR and see where it sits at idle, and that'll give you a pretty good baseline of what the pressure's at. So I set mine at 43.5, 44 psi. Some guys, when they run out of injector, will crank the pressure up and try to get a little bit more fuel for higher boost and all that. But if you're not running some crazy setup, then you don't really have to go too nuts with it. 43.5, that's what I run. So a lot of my buddies are in that too. All right, I think I'm happy with that so far. I guess the real test is going to be once we get it down on the ground. But it looks a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and leave the rest of the lug nuts off, and I think we're going to switch over to the other side. We have to pull that wheel off and kind of repeat the process. So grab a couple tools real quick. Get my little, oh, something fell. We'll find it. No worries. All right, hoping this side's a little easier. I really think that jam nut being on the back there that's locked up is what caused these guys to not be able to perform the alignment, just because of how far off that inside adjustment point is on the rearward arm. They weren't able to suck it in or push it out or anything. Like this one right here compared to the other side, you can see, let me get a light to show you better, but it's pretty messed up. So we'll do a point of reference here. All right, you can see this one, she's pretty close to centered in the wheel arch. On the side here, if you line it up with the body, you can kind of see it's not really sticking out too bad. I'm gonna look straight down at it if you want. Doesn't look terrible. It's probably out in the front now, just a touch. That's fine. They can adjust the front one easy. But this one, however, is pretty far forward, it looks like, and it's twisted inward, like the front of the tire is kind of pointing inward. So we look at it top down. Yeah, you can see she's pretty tweaked. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but if you look down at it's pretty far out. Chris is DSM. What's up, bud? All right, let me get my little pad to throw back down here on the ground. The rest of these tools. Let's get this other side knocked out. And who's willing to bet that I get another phone call tomorrow, and it'll be the 5th day in a row that these guys weren't able to do this alignment, all because of that rearward jam nut. I'm almost willing to bet that that's going to happen, but we'll do what we can do. We'll try to get as far as we can get and hopefully get this thing squared away so we can finally drive it again. My God, the fuel's going to go bad in this thing before we get a chance to actually take it out on the road. Again, not what I wanted to end up being in the middle of on a relaxing Sunday evening, but here we are. All right, I'm gonna get this light set up. Here you guys can see. Stuff. Can't complain too much. It's a little warmer out today, so it's not in the 20s yet. Okay, we're gonna do some more of the same on this side. This one, I mean, it's a little harder to tell. Hang the light back up so we can see what we're doing here. All right, so we're gonna knock this one back out. I'm gonna check this side too, because this one really does feel similar to the other one. Well, I mean, it looks similar, sorry, to the other one. It looks like this rear adjustment point is just locked, like it's tightened up so much that you can't adjust it. So I really don't think this side looks too terrible. This point of adjustment's only got a few threads down here showing and a few threads up there showing, but I'll walk that side in. This side's out pretty far. We're gonna suck it back in some. Let's see if this one comes out nice like the other one did. All right. 14 mil. Yeah, that came out nice. All right, let's see how this one goes. A loud noise is happening real quick. Look at that. That is fantastic. That came out way too easy. All right, simple enough. I'll take it. So, I'll grab my wrenches. They're underneath you guys. We're gonna go ahead and move this one back in some. Move jam nut down to the end of the head of this ball joint end here. Work this back in a bit. There's only a few threads showing on the other side. And now I have to move this one in just a little tiny bit more. I'm gonna try to suck it back in here some, so I'm gonna crack. Oh, well, that's already loose, so I don't gotta crack anything free. So righty tighty, you know the deal. Let's see, pliers. All right, crank this in just a touch. Let's give it a couple of turns, 2-3 turns, should be enough. All right. I definitely wanted to mar up all the paint on my brand new parts too. That's exactly what I wanted to do. But at this point, 5 days into waiting, I gotta get this thing taken care of, it out of their lot with an alignment so we can drive it again. All right, so that's going in. All right. Now I'm leaving the jam nuts all loose with the exception of the inner one on the rear here. I'm gonna try to see if I can crack the inner one free also while we're right here. Let me see if I can break that front one free. Okay, so the front one's loosened, the jam nut on the rear is loosened. Don't fall over on me, guys. This one back here is the trouble. This guy. I'm gonna try to pop this one free also real fast. We'll see what happens. The other one didn't budge. This one should, so let's get after it. Okay. Now this is just as tight. Oh, there we go. Would you look at that? Now we have some adjustment in the rear. All right, that just means I'm gonna have to go back over and pull the other wheel back off and do the same thing to that one. So this is free now. The jam nut will spin. Oh. There we go. There, so that jam nut's loosened up. This jam nut's loosened up. We got this thing in a few turns. I'm gonna do like I did on the other side and just grab this thing with a pry bar and try to tweak it inward so I can line this up. We're pretty close right here. Not too far to go, so I'm just gonna try to bend this thing forward and slap that in. Everything's gonna stay loose, and we'll see what happens here. I don't know why they said that there was no factory or there's no more room for adjustment left on this thing, because I mean, I get it if the side is locked on the other side there and you can't move it anymore, but I mean, you could pull these things all the way in, and I did compare these parts to the stock parts, and when they're fully compressed, they're identical in length. I mean, I didn't change any of the geometry down here other than adding adjustable arm here, and a stock arm on the bottom. So, I don't know, guys. We'll see what happens here. Get this ball joint back on real fast. So close. Going to your home. Oh. Angle this back a touch. Oh. Slipped off. Need a shorter pry bar. Might have one someplace. But with all this stuff this loose, guy's having too much trouble doing some adjustment and alignment on this thing. Tappy tap tap. All right, we're in. And it's already looking a little bit straighter over here, so that's good. Just gonna loosely put this 14 back in here. Loosely tighten it. All right, that's not sucked in all the way. So if they need to pop it back off, they can. This has some adjustment left in it. All right, that's good. Now, true test. Let's throw this wheel back on and we'll see. I guess we'll see if the wheel is centered, a little bit more centered anyway, in this wheel well. All right. Let me get my light out of here. I'm really, 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 really hoping that tomorrow I get a phone call and these guys are like, yeah, you're all set. Come and get it. But that's just not the way life works sometimes, right? All right, let's get some lug nuts on this side. I think it's time for some new lug nuts also. And I promise the rotors do look crusty, but they're not very old. I put them on a few months ago. It's just been sitting in upstate. You'll get the flash rust like you wouldn't believe. You can literally show back up to your house after driving and park the car and take a look, and your rotors are nice and shiny from just being used, and 10 minutes later you'll start seeing surface rust showing up on them. So usually it comes right off with a couple of stops. And I really hope the other side, that rearward arm jam nut, cracks free. I don't want to have to come back over here unless it's time to pick the car up. So at least we're making some headway, I guess, right? Count your blessings. All right, back over to the other side. Actually, that's not terrible. That actually looks a lot closer than it was before. I'd say that's pretty close to equal in the front and the rear now. That's a good thing. It's the small wins, right? The small victories. It's starting to get cold out here, boys. Freaking nose is running like a racehorse. Okay. Get my little save your knee pad here. Pull this side off in just a second here. I don't think we're gonna need Big Nasty anymore. We'll put this guy away. Let's see. 14. Probably need you again. Pry bar, possibly. Oh, there we go. I don't think I'm gonna need this wrench. Pack you back away. Pliers. Not gonna need you anymore. don't know if we'll need this 14 or not, guys. I'm just gonna bring it anyway. Oh, I lost a glove someplace too. No, I didn't. It's in my pocket. All right, that's good. Couldn't have gone far. We've only, I mean, actually, this is the furthest this GSX has traveled in 3-4 months now. So, guess I don't have to worry about things getting lost very frequently if the car never goes anywhere. All right, so I'm happy with where this side is right now as far as spacing goes in the arch. It doesn't look like it's too far forward or too far back, so I'm gonna call that a win. And we really got to get this rear jam nut done. I'm gonna pull this tire off real fast, guys. All right. Okay. Now the fun part begins. All right, let's see. That's why I brought the 14. All right, I'm gonna pull this nut back out, tap this ball joint down, and I'm gonna try my hardest to get that thing freed, because I swear to God, that'll be the one. That'll be the one nut that they can't turn, and they can't adjust this thing 2 degrees, and I'll have to come back over and do it. I'm tempted to leave these wrenches in the back too, or on the passenger seat, so that they have, if they don't have the tools, then at least I gave them the wrench. I'd assume that they have the tool. It is R&R tire after all. I'm sure they see weirder things than a 98 Eclipse in need of an alignment. And I lost the nut. No, I didn't. I see it's way back there. Whatever. All right. Okay, so this puppy right here, let's see if we can get that free. This is gonna be fun. Man, you know what? I wonder if I have a blowtorch with me. So I'll just warm that up a little tiny bit and it'll probably help, but for some reason I don't think I do. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude, they were definitely confused with what they had to do here. I don't know why they couldn't knock this out. It is what it is. Maybe there's a tech in there that's new, or maybe it's just outside of the scope of what they're allowed to do. Who knows? We'll figure it out though. All right, first thing first, little Magnana Steak. We're gonna go ahead and grab that nut back there. Gotcha. This little guy right here, it's not the biggest torch, but I usually use this when I'm doing electrical solder stuff and whatnot, but it also comes in super handy if you're out here and you're trying to crack brake bleeders free or take brake nuts apart. Take this little guy and turn up the heat, and you can warm those little areas up without, charring the body of the car or cooking the paint off of everything. You can just kind of sneak one of these in there. Works wonders for brake lines. So if you guys ever have trouble getting an old rusty brake fitting or clutch slave cylinder line or any of that stuff off, give it a whirl. We'll see if this thing has any juice in it. May take an extra minute here, but let's see. Just got to get a little heat in there. I'm going to hit it with some PB Blaster, and hopefully I can get this collar separated here. Get you guys a little closer to the action. Ooh, exciting stuff, right? All right. I'm just gonna heat the silver part up just a touch. See if that helps us at all. Go grab the blaster real fast, and hopefully this thing will move for me. And these are kind of tricky, so this one unscrews to the left, this side unscrews to the right, because it's a single threaded rod. You have to look at it like you're standing on the inside of the car looking towards the outside of it. Lefty-loosey basically from the other side. pretend you're on the opposite side when you're going to tighten or loosen these inners. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe one of the guys wanted to loosen it and by mistake tightened it. Who knows? I'm gonna grab some Blaster. Give me a sec. All right. If anything, that's just gonna make it more fun to try to get the wrench on, but whatever. Also, these threads in here, if you guys buy any of this stuff or coilovers and you live in the Rust Belt, fluid film and anti-seize all the threads. Take the whole thing out, put some anti-seize in there. I put a little dab on these already. I've got some, I forget what it's called. It's not the traditional style stuff. It's like a little bit more of an oil. It's kind of like fluid film, but not. I know PB Blaster has like an undercoating kind of thing that you can use on some of these parts, because the threads will rust so fast and you'll never have any adjustment in these things ever again. That's what happened with my budget coilovers back when I threw them on. The car was so low, I tried to raise it back up before the winter months hit. So I do drive this thing all year, and unfortunately for me, all the threads are seized up solid, so we couldn't do anything with it. Get some leverage on this thing. Oh man, that is on there. Let's see. She's not budging. This may be a problem, guys. Oh, man. Yeah, I might have to come back over with a big torch and see if I can heat that up enough to break it free, because it is on there. Let me try one more time here. Give it a little bit more of a shot of heat and see what happens from the mini torch. Probably takes 6 years to get this thing hot enough to actually make a difference, but whatever. We're gonna give it a whirl. Just wait until I see some smoke, and then I'm gonna cross my fingers. Trust me, I'm well aware this is probably not going to do very much. But you know what? If it gives me a little tiny bit of a leg up, I'll take that. Suction. These are not this tight when I brought it over here, so I think what happened is they tried to adjust it out, didn't hold on to that center section, and just drove that jam nut right into the back of the arm there. So I don't know. It is what it is. At least these are affordable. Maybe if the threads are damaged on it, who knows? At least we'll be able to get a replacement part for relatively cheap. But I'm hoping I don't have to go that far. All right, I'm seeing bubbles coming out of the threads down right there, so let's try this again. Something a little longer to get some more leverage. Let's try this. Attack it from the bottom side. Let's see if this control arm on the bottom can hold this from turning. Well, I can't get this one free. So if they can't get this thing in spec with the roughly 2 inches of threads on the outer side here, I'll have to come back over and try to crack this puppy free, but I'm gonna have to bring some serious heat and a bigger wrench because this is not giving me enough leverage to get on this thing and torque it. It's on there bad. Let's see. Before I call it quits, I want to think if there's any other option I have here. I didn't bring, everything that I have with me. And there is an AutoZone right across the street. If I had to buy something, I could go right over there real quick. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be where I stop right there. If this thing doesn't want to budge, there's not much else I can do. Man. Could always pull it off of the car, take it home, put it in the vise, and then free it up. That's an option. We may have to do that. Not really looking forward to that though, because getting those bolts in the back out is kind of a pain, but it's doable, obviously. All right, we're gonna just slap this back in here. We're gonna throw these lug nuts back on. You know what? One more heave ho. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing to pop. One more try before I call it quits. If I can get it to budge just a touch, then I'll be happy. Here we go. Yeah, this thing ain't moving, guys. Oh, what can you do? Guess I'll have to keep you guys posted on the 5-day alignment. Let's see if we can get this puppy out of here tomorrow or not. If there is trouble, I'll just take this arm off. I'll bring it back home. Like I said, 5 times now, and probably just throw it in the vise, because you know what else can I do really besides try to wing an alignment myself, which I really don't want to have to do. Let's see here. Get in your home. There we go. Well, 95% of everything is nice and loose now. If they have any other issue as far as no more adjustment or whatever, I think that they'll be able to knock this out, because now these wheels are at least going to be pointing in the right direction. They're not going to be so far out. Hopefully the laser can pick up, their laser alignment machine can pick up on it and do their adjustments they need to do. All right, that's still kind of loose. That's not terrible. I think we'll call it right there, guys. This has been a pain right in the butt. I really didn't think that this would end up happening. I was super hopeful that all I was gonna have to do is drop it off and come get it an hour later. Actually, initially I was gonna wait in the lobby for it, but DSM life, guys, DSM life. I don't know, should we wait and see what it looks like when I drop it down on the ground before I end this thing off? I might have to do some more adjustment, huh? Let's do that. Let me put this wheel back on. We'll get these jacks out from under it. Let's see what happens here. There's a rear end alignment. One more. This thing down off these jack stands. Let's see what we got. Keep your fingers crossed for me, boys. Going down. Not gonna look yet. I'm gonna roll the car forward and roll it back just a little bit and free up the suspension in the back. All right, moment of truth. How bad does it look? Pretty bad over here still. All right, looks like I gotta go forward quite a bit on this, and the other side I did peek at it, and the other side looks a lot better. Not as far back as it was, but still gonna pull it forward a touch more as well. No, I don't know, we'll see. I think this one they can adjust now. This one, we're just gonna go ahead and let these guys pull this thing inside again. Now that the wheels are pointed straight, for the most part, I can look down the side here and you can see it's a little bit of camber in at the top. You can kind of see what I'm looking at here. Same on this side, it's kind of tilted inward a little bit from the top. You know what, I think we're gonna leave it at that. It's cold out here. Sunday night, dinner's at home on the table, and I think I want to go eat it. It's been a long day, boys. Yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to stop back by here tomorrow morning. It'll be Monday morning. I'll probably stop in around 10 or 11, talk to them, see when they can get this thing in there next. But if it doesn't work out and they can't do any adjustments to the fully adjustable control arms, with the exception of this one right here that's locked, don't tell anybody. Yeah, I'll make another upload and let you guys know how the boys at R&R Tire do. Like I said, I'm not trying to dog these guys. I've literally come here for years, like 3-4 years now. I believe it's been here for about 3-4 years. But ever since this place came in, I've been coming here bringing this car because it's been so low. Nobody else in town will put it up. They're not allowed to use boards to get them onto the lifts anymore. At like Mavis or Monroe, none of them will touch it. So there's one other place that I can go to, and they're a little bit pricier, and you got to wait, a couple of days to get the car back. But if I got to do that, we'll do that. I'll tell you what, if your wheels are that far out and you try to drive your car, my God, is it not fun. Every time I hit the brakes, I knew it was out. I knew it was out really far. Every time I hit the brakes or tried to turn a little bit, you could feel the back end of the car trying to, crab walk one direction or the other. So, yeah, not super fun. Although it does look a lot better now that there's no rot in front of these wheel arches. Still got to go in there and finish a couple things, do the outside body work, but man, I miss this thing so much. I want to drive it so bad. Battery didn't die while it sat either, so that was a good thing. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into this. It's been fun. Hopefully you got a laugh or two out of watching me mess around with these wheels outside after hours in the dark at this R&R Tire Express. We'll see what happens with this alignment tomorrow. I'll keep you all posted. Follow me over on Instagram if you guys want to shoot me a message or have any questions or anything. Direct message me on there at Today's Project Guide. We're also going to have a bunch of pretty interesting, I actually got a graphic designer doing some t-shirts for me, some pretty cool designs. So we're gonna post some more of that stuff over the next couple of days. If you guys are interested in any Mitsu merchandise or DSM style stuff, some pretty interesting stuff. This chick's actually really good at what she does, and it doesn't take her very long to do it. So I was super impressed by some of the designs. You guys tell me, give me a day or so, I'll get them up on the website. It's tpgdsm.com, and we'll see what you guys think. But anyways, thanks for the support. Thanks for all the comments. Message me over on Insta if you guys have any questions, and I'll keep you posted either there or on here. All right, take care, guys.